It was a perfect opening night. The boys were indeed back, and a sold-out Turner Field crowd was treated to this powerful new Braves offense. Home runs by Freddie Freeman, Dan Uggla, and the newest Brave, Justin Upton, all part of the Braves' 7-5 win over the Phillies. A sign of things to come in this 2013 year? Well, let's hope so, as tonight the Braves take aim at Roy Halladay as this series continues against the Phillies tonight. It's a rainy night in Georgia, but it is time for Braves baseball. Tonight from Turner Field, weather permitting, we will have Game 2 of the season between the visiting Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. And hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson. I'm Chip Carey. What a way to start the year. The Braves, with a 3-homer barrage, beat the Phillies by a 7-5 final score on Monday night. And they love to do the same to Roy Halladay, the Phillies starter, who had a very, very rough spring for the Phils.
He's fallen on some hard times, Chip, and a lot of it attributed to some conditioning problems, illness in spring training, but really it dates back to last season. He had a rough time at the end of last year for the Philadelphia Ball Club. His last 20 starts, a very high ERA for him. He hung around there and won some ball games, but had a tough time. And really, you go to May 2nd, and that's about when it started, and it happened right here in this ballpark. He was leading the Braves 6-0 going into the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Braves went to work and knocked him out of the game. They tied the game largely on the home run by Brian McCann, who also got poked in the eye. But the Braves battered Roy Halladay and wound up winning that ball game despite trailing 6-0 halfway through it. They won it 15-13 in one of the wildest games of the season in extra innings. But for Roy Halladay, he's going to try to get things off to the right start tonight. Even though he had a bad spring training, we'll find out what kind of condition he's in tonight.
Real strange to think about Roy Halladay being a question mark, what with his big league pedigree, but no questions about Paul Maholm and the work he did for the Braves last season and this spring training too.
He's just a steady guy. He goes out there and gives you a lot of innings, and last year pitched well for the Braves in the second half after they got him from the Cubs. But this spring, he was outstanding. He had great numbers, a 4-1 record, an excellent ERA. In fact, and I love that lollipop curveball, shades of Livan Hernandez. He didn't give up an earned run in his last 20 1/3 innings. So let's hope that Paul's able to bring his spring training work into the regular season. He pitched well against the Phillies at times. He's had some rough starts against them in the past as well, but hopefully tonight he gets off to a good one.
So Paul Maholm, one of the big stories for the Braves tonight, but perhaps the biggest is a man making his big league debut behind the plate. Evan Gattis, his incredible journey culminates with his first big league start. He indeed gets his shot and a visit with Tom Hart when we come back to Turner Field after this.
in Game 2 of the series between the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Welcome back in the rain, everybody. I'm Tom Hart. Tonight we see the conclusion, perhaps Chapter 2 of an amazing story, one that screenplays should be scripted for. It's a story of Braves catcher Evan Gattis, a journey that is remarkable, if not unbelievable. In 2004, as a high schooler, he was an all-star. He committed to play college baseball at Texas A&M, but never showed up. And after a half season at junior college, he spent 4 seasons out of baseball and at such scenic outposts as Taos, New Mexico, Boulder, Colorado, Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, and Santa Cruz, California. Now he's back in baseball, and he's in the bigs. It's a story that's even surprised his very own teammates.
See where he was and to where he's at now to make the club, you know, he definitely earned it. He's got a chance to be one of the best hitters in this game, I think. He's extremely strong, and he can go from foul pole to foul pole. I'm excited for him.
It's just amazing that he's here and he's a teammate of ours. We're loving the fact that he's a part of this team. He's a great, genuine guy, and you know, he can definitely help this ball club.
You know, he's going to help us win some ball games, and we're excited to have him on the team. And big, strong guy. So. You know, if we ever get in a brawl, he's definitely one to have on your side.
And so for this former pizza boy, valet, cook, janitor, housekeeper, cart boy, waiter, ski lift operator, and machine shop worker tonight, he has an opportunity to add another line to this crazy resume. Major league catcher. In the rain, Evan Gattis will take the field to catch Paul Maholm in just a moment as the Braves and Phillies meet in Game 2. And what we hope is a continuation of a fantastic opening night just 2 nights ago here at Turner Field.
High fly ball, belted deep right, at the track, at the wall, 2-0 Atlanta. High fly ball, deep left. That one's got a chance. Dan Uggla is off to a hot start. High fly ball, right foot, left center, and deep, and gone by Upton. You called it, Joe. Drizzly night here at Turner Field as the Braves and Phillies are set for Game 2 of the season. Here's the Toyota lineup presented by Charlie Manuel for the Phillies. Revere, Rollins, and Chase Utley, who had 3 hits on Monday night. Then it's Ryan Howard, Michael Young, Brown, Mayberry, Kratz, and Roy Halladay will take aim at Braves starter Paul Maholm tonight.
31 starts, didn't miss a one last year, combined with the Cubs, 13-11, a good ERA, doesn't walk a lot of guys. Just pounds out a lot of innings start after start.
And his first pitch is a called strike for the Phillies leadoff man, Ben Revere.
Not overpowering, but good command, good sinking action on his fastball, and good breaking stuff, good changeup.
I'll be very interested to see how he and Evan Gattis work in tonight's game.
Well, it's a good point because Gattis doesn't know these hitters for the Phillies other than what he learned from a scouting report. And he's going to have to rely on his pitcher to shake him off because Paul does know them very well, and let Paul call the game that he wants.
Little bouncing ball. Mahalam's got that and retires Revere for the first out.
That's a good sign for Paul, getting ahead, making Revere swing at something that Paul wanted him to chase. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, well, compare him to Cole Hamels in the fact that that was Hamels' first ever opening day assignment. He said he was a little amped up and his fastball was up. He had trouble getting it down. Well, that's not a good sign for Paul Mahalam if he's up in the zone. He's got to be down. And a better beginning. Last year his first 2 starts were really bad for the Cubs. 8 innings, 12 hits, 12 runs. But after that he settled in, and 2 starts after that in April. 2-0, only 2 runs in 12 innings. So he wants to make sure he gets off to a better start this year than last.
His first look at Jimmy Rollins, and that's called a strike by Mike Everett, the home plate umpire tonight. Rollins had a single in game 1, and he pops this one into shallow left. Justin coming on, sliding try, can't get there. The ball bounds behind him, and Rollins will stand at second base with 1 out.
As has been said many times before, good pitches don't always result in outs, and that was a good pitch. Broke Rollins' bat, but he just dumped it in front of Justin and wound up with a double.
So Rollins at second with a 1-out double, and Chase Utley hits. As many questions as Phillies fans have about Roy Halladay tonight, boy, did Utley answer a lot of questions on opening night here. A big, big game at the plate. Utley had 3 hits, drove in 3 runs, and fell a double sigh of hitting for the cycle.
After the game, I was talking to some of the Phillies traveling party, and they said that just about St. Patrick's Day, they saw a big turnaround in Chase Utley and what he was able to do, and maybe just his own confidence in that his knees were okay. But from about St. Patrick's Day on in spring training, he really came around to more Chase Utley type numbers and was definitely ready to go at Monday night, as we saw.
Yeah, he looked great running the bases on that triple.
Mm-hmm.
And now behind in the count, 0-2 with Rollins a big lead at second. Struck him out. Utley down swinging for the second out of the inning.
That wasn't that lollipop slow curveball that he'll probably try on some right-handed hitters and backdoor him tonight. But that was just his normal breaking pitch to a lefty, and a beauty. You know, as we go along tonight, one of the knocks, if you want to call it a knock, on Evan Gattis is his defense. And you know, he took offense at that a little bit. So, you know, I don't think I'm as bad as people keep writing and saying. And what you and I saw this spring, he was terrific on balls in the dirt and moved laterally real well.
Ryan Howard, the batter for the Phillies, 0 for 5 with an RBI on opening night. And that's where the Braves went to get Howard an awful lot in game 1 of the season.
Tying him up inside.
Braves have a shift on with 2 outs. And that curveball off the plate evens the count.
Good pitch, though. As we pointed out Monday night after Luis Avilan struck him out in a key situation, he only hit 173 against lefties last year.
was a good pitch.
Got the inside corner, 1-2. Rollins is going for third. A little squibber down the third base line, and that will trickle foul. Howard back to the plate.
A little bit flat-footed on that break, but the Braves not really holding Rollins too close. Worried more about the hitter, and Howard spoiled another good pitch, just cueing that one off the end of the bat. They got him to swing and miss inside early in the count. The thing about that pitch, though, Chip, is if you go in there, you got to make sure you go way in there, especially when you're ahead in the count.
Gaddis smothered that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And to your point about Gaddis, it's one thing for a catcher to block the ball and have it ricochet away from you. We noticed that Evan gets the ball off his chest protector and it almost always dropped right at his feet.
Yeah, we saw that time and again, and he was doing an excellent job of corralling it. First of what might be several trips to the mound tonight, too, with Mulholland trying to get on the same page. And I certainly wouldn't give in to him here. He's throwing him some good breaking balls. You might see another one, 3-2.
Again, Rollins runs, and again, Howard fouls it at the plate. That's Charlie Manuel, the winningest Phillies manager. 727 victories in his 9 seasons as the skipper of the Phils. And did Howard go? He did not. It's ball 4. Phillies runners are at the corners with 2 outs. Boy, a couple pitches in that sequence must have missed by the slimmest of margins.
My goodness, another good pitch. Can't believe Howard laid off. But a little off the plate, as Fox Track shows you, and a good call from Mike Everett. I'm just surprised that close Howard didn't pull the trigger.
It's an RBI chance for Michael Young, although with 2 outs, he's the Phillies' third baseman. He had a couple of walks on Monday. And he's behind in the count with a quick swinging strike. Young was a perennial 20 home run guy, 100 RBI guy with the Rangers. His power has dropped off the last couple of years. And a little squibber up the middle, right at the second base bag. Simmons handles on the ricochet, steps on the bag to retire Ryan Howard, and sends this game to the bottom of the first inning. That was weird. Braves come to the plate. Again, Freddie Gonzalez, his Toyota starting lineup a little different at the bottom of the order tonight. Season debuts for Juan Francisco and Evan Gattis. After the top hitters in the lineup, Joe, on Monday, hit 3 home runs against Cole Hamels.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Tonight they'll go after Roy Halladay, who is 35 years old now, 6'6", 225 out of Denver. Here are the numbers from spring training. Check it out. 6.06 ERA in 16 innings. He still struck out a bunch of guys, but a ton of hits allowed. And you and I were just watching him warm up, Chip, and his arm slot's very different, much lower than we're accustomed to seeing. And his velocity was down below 90 in spring training all spring.
And his first pitch clocked at 88 miles an hour to Andrelton Simmons. So that begs the question, can Roy Halladay be as dominant pitching in the upper 80s versus the low 90s when he was a 20-game winner?
Well, he's a smart guy. He knows how to pitch. One of the things I repeat that Charlie Manuel told me Monday was that Roy was ill a lot of spring training, and they're not sure what kind of pitching shape he's in, how far he can go tonight. But a lot of cutters. It depends a lot on his fastball, of course. It usually sits around 92, but a lot of cutters, curveballs, and sliders. Cutter is his out pitch.
And a bouncing ball foul keeps Simmons alive at a ball and 2 strikes.
And the 4 keys to pitching success for Roy Halladay tonight. If you think about the movie, well, his is trouble with the cutter. He's had problems with his A1 pitch all spring, and again, his conditioning. They'll keep an eye on him in the Philly dugout.
Swing and a miss takes care of Simmons. Halladay has his first strikeout of the night. Here's the defense behind the Philadelphia right-hander. Brown, Revere, and Mayberry from left to right. Michael Young and Jimmy Rollins on the left side, and Eric Kratz again behind the plate for the Phillies. Big roar for Jason Hayward, who scored a first-inning run on Monday.
There's a 91 fastball.
Well, there's no mistaking the pedigree of Roy Halladay. You mentioned earlier he's going for his 200th big league win tonight. But a ton of innings pitched for Halladay since the 2006 season. So it's not the years, but really the mileage. 1,571 innings since 2006 and 46 complete games. Which leads you to wonder, what is the cumulative effect of all those extra innings he pitched while with Toronto in his early days with the Phillies? Is that catching up to him now?
Well, you have to wonder after the second half that he had last year and how everything started to go downhill.
Broken bat shot in the right for Hayward. He'll muscle a single. And he's aboard in front of Justin Upton in the Braves first.
Turnabout's fair play. Jimmy Rollins wound up with a double. But Jason gets a broken bat single.
What a warm welcome Justin was afforded on Monday night. And he returned the favor with that mammoth home run that came in the 5th inning against Hamels. Jason's got a big lead at first. And here's a look back at the blast on Monday.
Yeah, look how short quick this is. Cole Hamels knew it. Another fastball that was up. Might have been a cutter, actually, as I recall. It stayed out and over the plate a little bit.
Is there a method to the madness for a hitter of hitting a cutter?
No, it's just that it's hard to recognize. It's one of those, I mean, it's kind of a semi-slider in its action, but it's late breaking. So it's disguised as a fastball with just a slight movement, maybe a couple, 3 inches, that bites in on the hands of a left-hander if you're a right-handed pitcher, and to the end of your bat if you're a right-handed hitter. Tim Hudson has a beauty. Colt Hamels has a great one, and so does Roy Halladay. Guy in New York that's a relief pitcher is not bad either.
Yeah, what's his name again?
Yeah. He's in the Cutter Hall of Fame already.
Speaking of Mariano Rivera, of course. Nice stop by Kratz, who elbows Upton out of the way to pick up the loose ball.
Nice job of blocking that by Kratz, but he didn't know if Jason was going and was scrambling to get the baseball. And he's a big dude.
Fly ball well hit right center. Revere long run. Still going. Won't get it. It's gone.
Brother to brother. I tell you, watching batting practice today, the wind was blowing in from right center. It's now raining very heavy air. The ball was not carrying in BP. And while that ball didn't look like maybe it didn't go out that far, that ball was crushed into a light breeze and in the rain. Kratz called for a fastball inside. Obviously, they didn't get it far enough in there, but look where he hits the ball. That pitch was down and out over the plate, and behind in the count, he goes the other way with it.
And now Halladay finds himself in the middle of the part of the Braves order that's given him the most trouble head to head. And he's already down 2-0. This is Freddie Freeman, and he's part of our Ram Trucks Power Stats.
Big numbers for him in his career against Halladay, including his first major league homer, which was against Roy. BJ saw him a lot in the American League when Halladay was with Toronto. And Dan Uggla with good numbers.
The Phillies have a shift on for Freeman and a 3-1 count. Can't remember anybody shifting on Freeman last year.
Not like this. Seeing more and more managers employing shifts, though, especially on left-handed hitters.
Old foul past first. Freeman had the biggest night for the Braves on Monday. 2-run homer in the first, an RBI single in the third, and a 7th inning hit, a 3-for-4 night. And all the RBIs came with 2 outs. And he coaxes a 1-out walk. 23 pitches for Halladay here in the first.
Let's go back to the home run. Fastball down and out over the plate. Not exactly an inside-out swing, not to imply that, but look how short the follow-through is and where he was looking. He wasn't trying to pull the ball. Pretty much hit it where it was pitched and got great results.
So B.J. Upton wants to get in on the fun. Said he's a little amped up on opening night. You certainly understand that.
Yeah, I thought he was a little over-aggressive on a couple of at-bats. Swung at the first pitch. They weren't the best pitches to hit for him. That's understandable.
One ball, one strike.
It's still early in this game. Long way to go, but This does not, to me, look like the guy we're accustomed to seeing. His arm slot is way lower, and secondly, he's not on the attack like we're used to seeing.
That's got to be awfully tough. Again, as I said, when you're a power guy and can finish guys off with your heat with 2 strikes, well, he doesn't have that weapon, it appears, in game 1 tonight. At least not yet. And he got Upton to swing and miss. 2 strikeouts for Halladay, 2 outs for Dan Uggla.
He's a guy who's one of those workout fiends. In between starts, he's one of those guys that's hard to keep up with if you were going to try to work out with him. Takes a lot of pride in his conditioning. And he actually came out of spring training saying that physically he felt better than he had felt in 4 or 5 years going into the regular season. But it was not translating to results when he was pitching. And he actually only pitched in a couple of minor league games prior to his last start in spring training after he'd had the illness.
And he faces another nemesis in Dan Uggla. He bats with 2 outs. You were really impressed with the way Dan started the day batting practice.
I just couldn't get over it. His swing looked so good in batting practice, and I was standing next to Scott Fletcher, who was also saying, man, he's on it now. He's got it. Because he was staying inside the baseball with his hands. He was hitting a lot of drives to right center field. Just looked wonderful.
In the first 3 pitches to Dan Uggla, he's thrown Halladay 82 and an 81 mile an hour delivery. That was 79, a breaking ball, and it missed. 3 balls and a strike.
Lots of them. A lot of breaking balls. Struck out BJ on a breaking ball. Struck out Simmons to start the game on a changeup.
And he lost Uggla. The pitch is really piling up for Halladay in the rain, and Rich Doobie, the Phillies pitching coach, will make his first visit to the mound.
Well, it was a rough year for him last year. Halladay finished 11-8 overall with a 4.49 ERA. And those were the fewest wins since 2004 for him in a season. And the ERA, you got to go all the way back to 2000 to find an ERA that high. And that was the year that Toronto sent him back to Dunedin to kind of reinvent himself. Remember that story?
Yeah.
They sent him all the way back to A-ball, and he had to work his way back up.
He's down 2 runs with 2 on and 2 outs for a man that had a mammoth spring. We talked about Juan Francisco on Braves Live. That was his resume last year. And he and Chris Johnson had a great battle all spring long, and both can really lay claim to the third base position, can't they?
Neither guy lost the job. And again, Juan hit a ball in batting practice here Sunday that landed in the second deck, in the corner of the second deck near the bullpen. That Chipper said Monday night he's the only guy he remembered seeing anybody hit one up there left-handed was Klesko, and that was more down the line.
Hot shot, past Howard, base hit right. Streaking around third, Freeman. The throw to the plate will not be nearly in time. Juan Francisco with a big 2-out hit makes it a 3-0 score. Love 2-out RBIs.
Everything's a little heavy right now with this rain. Juan didn't scald this ball, but it got under Ryan Howard, and then the grass really slowed it down when it got to Mayberry, and his throw, because the ball probably was a little wet, gave Freddie an easy time getting into the plate. That ball just died on the grass.
So how about this moment? Evan Gattis making his first major league at bat.
Scott Fletcher talking about Evan, saying this guy has a real good idea at the plate, real good grasp of fundamentals. He's not just some big, huge guy that swings hard.
He takes strike to even the count.
No batting gloves. I love his head position. He's got his head pivoted where he's got both eyes on the pitcher. It's a good look at the pitch. And boy, is he strong.
At the knees, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a breaking ball gets Gattis. And Halladay is out of the first inning, but the Braves made him throw a ton of pitches, almost 40 of them for Roy Halladay. Upton hit a 2-run homer. Francisco with an RBI single, and the Braves strike early again. It's 3-0 after 1. Braves score 3 again in the opening inning tonight off Roy Halladay as Paul Mahalam gets ready to go to work here in the top of the second inning. All year long, Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Tough to reinvent yourself at this level, isn't it?
It is, and it is the first inning, but frustration on the part of Roy Halladay, not the kind of start he wanted to get off to, despite the fact that he struck out the side. The thing that may be the most telling, though, is the way he struck out the side. A lot of breaking balls and changeups.
And 40 pitches in the first inning for Halladay tonight. And they did have activity in their bullpen while the Braves were batting in that first inning. So we'll see how long Halladay is able to continue tonight. It is a raw night. It's been raining rather steadily since about 6:30 or so, and a bit of a delay while Ed Mangan and the ground crew apply some diamond dry surface to the mound in the batter's box.
Well, they're going to have to play through some of this tonight because the forecast tomorrow is just awful. Hopefully it will pass through tonight and everything will be just fine tomorrow, but important to keep playing in this drizzle.
.55 degrees and a raw night. But for Paul Mahalam, this is Miami Beach weather. He's got a 3-run lead after 1. And he faces Dominic Brown to lead off the Phillies' second. And a line drive into center leads off the Phillies' second. Dominic Brown, his second hit of the series.
That's good news and a good sight for Charlie Manuel, because he really doesn't want to platoon Dominic Brown. He wants him to play every day, even with a left-hander out there. Phillies made a roster move last night, or in the off day, I should say. They picked up Ezekiel Carrera from the Cleveland Indians, claimed him on waivers, an outfielder. And they had a player, an outfielder that gotten on a Rule 5 claim from the Diamondbacks, but they're going to try to hang on to that kid and send him back to AAA and hope the Diamondbacks don't reclaim him.
This is John Mayberry. He's the Phillies' right fielder tonight, down a quick strike. Line over short. And the Phillies have 2 on with nobody out. Back-to-back singles by Brown and Mayberry.
Like he made a mistake with his curveball there. Oh, yeah. That was put on a tee for him.
But he's got the catcher up now, and Eric Kratz. Ground ball from Mahalam might mean a double play with the pitcher's spot due next for the Phillies. Didn't see the game opening night and are wondering where's Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies. He's suspended for the first 25 games of this season for a banned substance. It's Adderall, you said?
Yes.
So he'll be out for almost the first full month for the Phillies. That means Kratz is the regular guy. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're right, he is a big man, 6'4", 255 pounds.
And he's played well against the Braves. We talked about his numbers against Atlanta last year, 8 for 24, including a homer off Craig Kimbrell.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Paul Mahalam, he's one of those guys that, because he relies on finesse and making you put the ball in play to a large degree, you pretty much know early in the ball game if he's on, if he's got his good stuff. And while he left a couple of guys on in the first inning, he looked sharp.
Good stop, Gaddis. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And a lot of that you can attribute to whether or not he's getting the ball down, or if he's leaving it upstairs too much early in the ball game, because the hitters will pick on him since he's not that overpowering.
Kratz still alive, still 2-2.
And I love that move. Used a slide step there, kind of jumped at Kratz, but then threw him something off speed, hoping that the motion would cause Kratz to get out on his front foot a little bit.
Missed the corner. Full count.
Here's the pitch before. Now watch, it wasn't his normal delivery out of the stretch. It was a real quick one. And then by throwing an off-speed pitch, you get the hitter picking up on the quick step. Maybe might be inclined to get out on his front foot some.
That's part of that craft and guile that you often hear spoken of with left-handed pitchers who don't throw hard. Little trick that Paul employed.
Yeah, but now he's got Kratz with guile at the plate, so sometimes that gets offset.
Good speed aboard for the Phillies. Brown at second, Mayberry at first. Another payoff. Ground ball. Simmons has it. Flips Douglas for one. There's the double play. And on the transfer, Freeman dropped the ball, but a twin killing brings up Roy Halladay with 2 outs.
Taylor made right here for Andrelton. Quick feed to Dan. Throw a little wide there after Freddie had stretched, but held on to it long enough. Braves last year, looking at our Home Depot tools from the dugout, the #1 defensive team in the National League by a percentage point over the Reds, Arizona, and Washington. Hopefully more of the same this year.
Halladay did a pretty good job at the plate last year for the Phillies. Hit a .170. He came to Philadelphia, was a lifelong American League pitcher. Didn't get to hit much. 11 career RBIs for him. And Halladay is down on strikes. Mulholland gives up back-to-back hits to start the second, but the Phillies fail to score, and we head to the bottom half of the inning. By Delta Airlines and by Ford. Great start for the Braves on a rainy night at Turner Field. 3-0 Atlanta, bottom of the second inning. Braves are taking care of business against a man trying for a milestone win tonight, and that's our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard.
2 guys the last 2 games trying to climb up that ladder. Hudson got a no decision Monday night. Halladay trailing 3-0. Derek Lowe in there among the active leaders.
Derek pitching for one of the 2 American League teams now in Texas.
Quite a night last night for Yu Darvish of the Rangers, coming within 1 out of pitching a perfect game. That Astros team off to what many of us would say is a bit of a sluggish offensive start.
Yes, they've dropped 2 out of 3. And the sluggishness starts with the offense. The Astros have had 93 official at-bats in their first 3 games and have struck out 43 times.
Yankees. Boy, Roy has been all over that mound getting ready for his second inning. Might be some of that drying agent clogged up in his spikes, but has not looked comfortable.
And the fastball, upper 80s. Maybe touched 90 once in the first inning. He threw 40 pitches that frame. And now faces Paul Maholm, Andrelton Simmons, and Jason Hayward in the second. Pop fly foul. That'll reach the seats. And Maholm with a 2-2 count now.
Veteran pitchers have a way of figuring things out mechanically. What's wrong? Looking at a little video. He's got a wonderful pitching coach in Rich Doobie. You just have to figure it's just a matter of time before Roy Halladay, unless there's some arm problems, gets this figured out.
He figured out Maholm. He's retired all 4 outs via strikeout so far tonight. And now the top of the order comes calling. Tonight only, grab the Braves Steal of the Week offer. Get $20 outfield pavilion tickets for all of this weekend's games against the Cubs. A savings of up to $15. This deal is for tonight only, so go to Braves.com/steal to get your tickets. Simmons, the first man that Halladay struck out tonight.
'81 changeup and an '89 fastball, both in the exact same spot. And Andrelton sharp enough not to offer it either one.
Ooh, generous strike there. 2 balls and a strike now.
Yeah, Andrelton didn't like that one. I don't blame him.
Now full count. Boy, still a ton of off-speed stuff from Halladay.
He kind of looked around there like, that's not what that pitch is supposed to do, and it never did it before. So the frustration in the dugout.
Well, he's a perfect 5 for 5. 5 outs, 5 strikeouts. And 2 are out in the second inning. Delta Airlines, a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. And Jason Hayward bats with the bases empty. Jason broke his bat but singled in the first inning. And now the Phillies have, I guess, a modified shift on for Hayward. Jimmy Rollins almost right behind the second base bag.
This is the way they started in the first inning, though, Chip. And then when the count went to 2-0, Rollins moved over, and the hitter's count, he moved over on the first base side a second.
Halladay paints a corner, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hayward swings and misses. Halliday has struck out 6 men in the first 2 innings. The Braves, however, touched him for 3 in the first. Destroy Halliday.
And as they did on Monday night, Braves striking with a home run in the first inning. Tonight it's Justin Upton who hits his second. Actually hit a good pitch. It was down and away, and he went with it. Last year in April, Justin Upton hit .242 for the month with 2 homers and 5 RBIs. He's already got his 2 homers in 2 games. Braves added another run in the inning on some clutch hitting by Juan Francisco, who had a RBI single in his first at bat of the year.
So Mahalam starts his 3rd inning with Ben Revere leading off. Revere tapped back to the mound to start the game for the Phillies. Mentioned last night that Ben was born in Atlanta. He played his high school ball in Kentucky. Actually had a college scholarship to play at the University of Georgia, but was drafted by the Minnesota Twins. And as a youngster in the Twins organization, loved Kirby Puckett. As a kid, watched him, loved watching him play, tried to emulate Kirby's mannerisms, his style of play. And he'll ground out to Dan Uggla for the first out of the 3rd inning.
One of the things that they like about Ben Revere and why they got him is that he doesn't strike out much, puts it in play. Watch Evan Gaddis on this pitch. He's going to move over like he's going to have to block it, and yet Revere picks it right up off the ground and puts it in play. With his speed, that's the kind of thing he needs to do, is put it in play and hope to get on base for those big thumpers behind him for the Phillies.
Mahalam made a good pitch to Jimmy Rollins his first time, but Rollins dumped a shallow fly ball into the left and turned that into a 2-base hit. He was left stranded in the opening inning. Rollins in the top 3 in so many different categories for this Phillies organization. First in most games played at shortstop. Second in Phillies history in extra base hits. Second in doubles. Second in total bases. 3rd in runs. And tonight he ties Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn for 2nd place on the all-time Phillies games played list.
Impressive. Oh, good pitch. Kind of like the one to Howard in the first inning that he laid off.
That's hammered deep down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It will not. That's in the upper deck at Citizens Bank Park.
Just a loud strike.
Just past Simmons and into left field. Jimmy Rollins 2 for 2.
Came back with another fastball. Looked like he was trying to get it to turn over a little bit. It didn't. And hit hard again.
That'll bring up Chase Utley, who struck out swinging in the first. Paul Maholm and Mike Minor are going to be two hugely important pieces for the Braves in rotation against Eastern Division opponents. And certainly when you think about guys like Howard and Utley for the Phillies, quality left-handed pitching is essential to beat them. That's an area where the Phillies had trouble last year. They were 23-30 against left-handed starters last season.
Another slide step, quick pitch. That time it was a fastball, not the off-speed pitch. I'm going to give Jimmy Rollins something else to think about at first.
Rollins was 30 for 35 in steals last year. And that just missed. 2 balls and a strike.
Phillies have done a good job of keeping their core players together. I mean, they gave Ryan Howard that huge contract a couple of years ago. They re-signed Rollins as a free agent before last season. The 3 pitchers all with big money contracts. Guess who's next? See what they do with Chase Utley, who signed a 7-year deal back in 2007. That takes him through this year. And I'm sure a lot of what they want to see is how healthy is he before they talk about any extensions. I'm not aware of any at this point. But he's 34 years old. And in his 10th year.
That man too a free agent, Charlie Manuel. His contract's up after this season. Three balls and a strike for Utley.
Pitch. Change up on the inside corner. Might have had a little break, a little spin on it that he gave up on.
Runner goes and the pitch popped up into straightaway center. BJ's got it, no trouble. Rollins has to hustle back to first and he'll make it without a throw. So beware of Ryan Howard with 2 outs, especially in this ballpark. He's the subject of our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Career home runs against Atlanta. Johnny Bench with 50, George Foster 46. Most of Foster's came while with the Reds. And Ryan Howard right in between those two, right behind those 2 guys, and in front of another former Philly, Mike Schmidt. You think about Bench and Foster, they were in the same division with Atlanta in the old National League West. But Mike Schmidt was in the East. So I'd say he took advantage quite often when he had a chance.
Yeah, the ballparks always seemed to play downhill for him, didn't they?
Yeah, meaning that when you're playing teams in your own division, you play them more often.
One ball, one strike.
Just about the best heater for Paul right here, 89. And Ryan Howard showing some pretty good discipline tonight. Hasn't chased anything, just a little off the plate until now.
The other part, too, I haven't seen Paul shake Gaddis off once. They had one meeting on the mound in the early innings, but they seem to be working very well together tonight. Gaddis making his major league debut tonight. Fastball throws Ryan Howard.
Another quick slide step, too. That might have helped.
Our Delta on deck batters, the heart of the order for the Braves. 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Already leading by 3. One reason why the man in the batter's box, Justin Upton, hit a 2-run homer in the first inning.
He hasn't faced Halladay that much, only 6 at-bats prior to the home run in the first, so Halladay may be trying to figure out something himself on how to pitch Justin.
Well, there's so many different parts in this Braves lineup. I'm sure for Halladay it's an adjustment as well. Trying to figure out how to navigate your way 1 through 8. With both Uptons in there. No Chipper in there anymore, quite obviously. No Brian McCann. But with Francisco and Gaddis, somewhat unknown commodities for him, too.
There are no soft spots. There's no place to go where you think, okay, I could pitch around this guy and go to this bottom part of the order and relax.
Term has been used a lot, and I tend to agree with it. There are some who are saying this is an American League style lineup for the Braves, 1 through 8.
I would agree with that, but I would add that it's got better speed than many of the American League teams overall.
Two balls, 2 strikes for Justin. Halladay wanted that call, didn't get it. Boy, he turned his back to the home plate umpire in frustration. Now it's 3-2.
Another good call by Mike Everett.
But he's 7 for 7. Strikeout number 7 for Halladay as we join Elizabeth Moreau for the first time tonight.
Guys, thank you a lot for that big win Monday night. On the off day, a group of players and coaches went to a special preview of the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson story, and I was able to caught up with Justin Upton, and I asked him what his favorite part of the movie was.
The relationship with his wife and you know, the joy that she brought to him, you know, away from the field through the fire he was going through was an awesome part of the movie to me. I mean, obviously, you know how what he went through and on the field and how rough that was for him, but to see there were glimpses of happiness in his life, and to see those things portrayed were awesome.
Well, I thought that was really interesting. Out of all of the parts of the Jackie Robinson story and all the trials and tribulations, that stood out to him. The movie comes out April 12th, and as always, Jackie Robinson Day is April 15th. Guys?
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Can't wait to see that movie either as Freeman dumps a single in left.
Me too, and I don't know if you saw any video on it last night, Chip, but to commemorate the movie premiering, Rachel Robinson was Jackie's widow as a guest at the White House, and she's 90 years old.
Wow.
And I mean, just absolutely a beautiful woman and well spoken, very articulate in how she was portraying, or how she was giving you her feelings on the movie. And what a person. I've met her on several occasions, and just a wonderful class act.
B.J. Upton bats and has a big swing. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, for all of Roy Halladay's struggles in the early inning tonight, all 7 of his outs have come via strikeout. So to your point, looks like he is figuring things out as he goes. Nice stop by Kratz to save a base.
Some nice spoils too for Freddie Freeman with his little base hit dump to left with the big shift on to the right.
That one pops away, and Freeman's going to try. The throw well off target and backed up by Rollins.
One of the things the Braves minor league coaching staff does such a good job on is teaching runners at first base, when you see that ball from your angle at first base about to go in the dirt, go. Take a chance, because the catcher's going to have to try and block it, and good chance that by the time they recover, you can advance. They're well schooled that way.
BJ down on strikes. 8 hitters retired, 8 strikeouts for Halladay.
He's doing it in a different way, and like I said, veterans figure out ways to compensate if they're losing some of their stuff. He's not throwing as hard, but since the first inning, he's done a good job of getting ahead in the count.
Dan Ugla with 2 outs. That one led her high and called a strike.
45 of those 71 pitches came in the first inning. Excuse me, 40 pitches in the first inning.
the runner at second. Halliday and Kratz want to make sure.
With the adjustments that Dan's made in his swing, especially by staying inside the baseball a little longer, it allows him to wait a little longer too. He doesn't, with his toe tap, have to start and get out there quite so fast. And it's created a bit of a shorter swing for him too. And tonight's batting practice was, again, just very impressive. Unlike I've ever seen him take.
He's got a great hitter's count now with 2 outs, 3 balls and a strike. Freeman at second. And Halliday will go after Juan Francisco. Third walk of the game for Halliday. 2 of them have come to Dan Uggla. What kind of numbers will Juan put up if he gets 400 at bats? This might be the year we find out. Nothing in 2.
Jammed himself a little bit there on that one.
9 homers, 192 at bats for Francisco last year for the Braves.
Halliday fell behind Uggla, who's had good numbers against him, didn't give in, had a base open, walked him. But he quickly got ahead of Francisco 0-2 and wasted a pitch there.
Roller toward Ryan Howard. Halliday to the bag, and that's the first out for Halliday that didn't result in a strikeout. He's through 3 innings in Atlanta, but the Braves lead him 3-0. The Georgia Lottery by the Home Depot and by Toyota. Good start for the Braves, 3-0, game 2 of the season. Plan to try to win the series outright from the Phillies tonight. Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups as Angels outfielder Josh Hamilton goes back to Texas to take on the Rangers, or the Yankees battle the American League champion Tigers. or the Cardinals face the world champion Giants in a rematch of the NLCS. The debut of Fox Saturday Baseball is this weekend.
Umbrella's a good call tonight. Ed Mangan and his crew did a good job of trying to keep the home plate area and the mound dry for the pitcher and hitters.
It's been a steady drizzle, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's raining real hard right now.
We had to show you that sign really fast. That thing was about to melt.
Michael Young goes to work for the Phillies. Michael grounded out in his only at bat so far tonight. And he launches this one to left. And Justin's in perfect position for the first out. That's something that's going to be very fun to watch this year. The speed and athleticism in the Braves outfield. There are not many gaps for the opposing hitters to find. With Upton, and Hayward left to right.
Just great range. They can all go get it. They can all play center field. They all have good arms.
A ball to Dominic Brown, who singled his first time up. No.
Paul hasn't had a clean inning yet, but he's had good command. His only walk was kind of pitching around Howard in the first.
And he battles back for a full count. Dominic Brown, 25 years of age, 20th round pick of the Phillies in 2006. They've liked him for a long time. It's unfortunate for him that he's been hurt so much. Ran through the list of injuries on Monday night. And he's going to be 2 for 2. Base hit for Brown with 1 out.
Time for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And the Braves and the Phillies head to head their last 16 ball games. The Braves 12-4 against the Fightin' Phils. After really kind of taking it on the chin against Philadelphia the 2 or 3 years prior to that, but look at the difference defensively.
I never would have guessed 15-1 in errors.
I'm told the Braves had lost 10 of 12 prior to that run they're on right now.
Well, let's hope they continue that against the Phillies and do similar damage to the Nationals.
Yeah.
Do that, got a pretty good shot in the East. One ball, no strikes to John Mayberry. He too with a single tonight. Now slow roller hit toward Francisco, who tried with a bare hand and came up empty. 2 are on, 1 out for Kratz.
He's got a lot of confidence in making this play, but I don't think he needed to do this here. You can see how he was just a step or so inside the edge of the grass. Mayberry got a real late start out of the box, and I think if he had a chance to do it over, he'd glove that one and have a chance to make the play. And as a result, charge him with an error. And I don't disagree with that because, again, when he made that play, he was only a step or two in on the grass.
So Mahalam has some work to do with Kratz up there. 2 on, 1 out. Kratz hit a double play ball his last time up. Mahalam would love another one. Six errors for Francisco last year. Tonight his first in the Phillies' 4th inning.
Here's a better overall perspective of that last play. Watch where Juan fields this ball, or attempted to, just a step or two on the grass, and you can see that Mayberry was not even halfway down the line yet. So I think that went into the process of the official score to give him an error.
A strikeout would be nice. Kratz behind 0-2. Last year, Paul Mahalam induced 19 double play balls. He's already got one tonight
from this guy.
He gets the strikeout of Kratz. And Roy Halladay will hit with 2 on and 2 out. Fans, if you have an iPhone or Android device, download the new MLB at the Ballpark app today and start unlocking offers and rewards, upgrading your seats at the game, watching behind-the-scenes videos, and more. Go to Braves.com/mobile today to download.
So you got to unlock those specials.
Yes. I don't know how that works.
Well, I'm sure if you've got an app. Is that like a key if you've got the app?
I'm talking to someone who used to have a partner who got his first cell phone and said, "Where's the dial tone?" You're barking up the wrong tree if you're looking for answers from me. Ball and a strike.
There's a whole world of technology waiting to be unlocked for me.
Yeah. That was a good looking cell phone shot. 1-2. And Mahalam takes care of Halladay. The Phillies 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position so far tonight. And after 3.5, the Braves enjoy a 3-run lead with Evan Gattis ready to hit for the second time as a big leaguer.
it is a wet night tonight, but not one that could dampen the spirits of the Gaddis family, as rookie Evan Gaddis makes his major league debut, and he leads off the inning for the Atlanta Braves. Tom Hart at the ballpark, joined by his father and his stepmother, Joe Gaddis, and Sue, and several other family members and friends along. Joe, what is this night like for you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's a long time coming. A lot of hard work for Evan, and has a good support group behind him, so we're all pulling for him. We know he'll do well.
It's been an amazing journey for Evan Gaddis after committing to Texas A&M out of high school. He was away from the game after a short stint in junior college for 4 years, and now in the big leagues. Now, one of the things you'll first notice about Evan Gaddis is he's kind of an old-school guy. There are no batting gloves. Did he get that from his dad as an early coach?
No, he did not. I tried to buy him all kinds of gloves, and he wouldn't wear any of them. He just likes to feel the bat in his hand. So he's got an old pair of Ruben Sierra gloves, in fact, hanging on his wall at home. Never been on his hands, I don't think.
We all know it's been an amazing journey for him, not only as a top player as a teenager to out of the game. Did you ever imagine he'd end up in this situation?
No, I did not. He told me he was done, and there he goes.
Oh, there he goes indeed.
Done, and I believe him.
Deep left and gone. His first big league hit is a home run.
This level, can you tell us what you're feeling at this moment?
That was just kind of feeling for him, because he was going to remember this moment. He said he knew he'll hit one, and he didn't know when it'd be, but he'll probably get a little teary-eyed running around the bases. So
you might get a little teary-eyed too, and that's certainly understood.
Absolutely, already teary-eyed, sure.
This was a young man who gave up for the game for a moment. He looked in the eye and said he was done with baseball. Can you put those feelings into words as well, what you thought then versus where you are at this moment?
No, actually, he was done. He told me he was done, and I took him at his word. He had to go do a few things, so I left it at that. But when he told me he was going to play again, it was probably one of the happiest days of my life. So, I'm glad to see him back in it, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to play, because he was born to be a baseball player.
You were one of his first coaches. Walk us through the scouting report on your son.
No, I better not. Too many other people are probably watching. So
the first phone call he made, he promised his girlfriend, who's here tonight, that she would receive the first call when he knew he made the big league club. I assume you were the second. I hope you were. What?
He told me I was the second. So
okay, that's all that matters now. What did he say to you, and how did that phone call go?
He just said, "Hey, I made it." And I said, "You made what?" I was just kind of ribbing him a little bit. He goes, "I made the team." I said, "You deserve it, buddy. It's a lot of hard work, so congratulations."
You mentioned his support group. His college coach from UT Permian Basin is in the building tonight. One of his travel coaches from back in the Dallas area is here as well. What does it mean to him to have so many great people here to witness this moment?
Oh, it's still unbelievable to him. It's remarkable that everybody's here to watch him, and it's a dream come true. But he really didn't know. He couldn't expect it. 4 years ago when he quit the game, that he would be here tonight on the field playing. So it really is a journey, and it's a great one. So
it's a remarkable story, and Chip, if this is the first chapter of that book, we're going to see a whole lot more of those big hits. Joe, congratulations.
Appreciate
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Tom. Great job with the interview. And how apropos, Joe, that for a man that had to wait 4 years to fall in love with baseball again, we had to wait an extra 15 or 20 seconds to see if that ball actually cleared the fence.
Yeah, I was scared that Dominic Brown was going to pull that out of his glove and break our hearts, but what a story.
Andrelton Simmons bats with 1 in, 1 out. Gaddis now the 7th player in Atlanta history to homer in his major league debut. Bob Horner's done it. Jermaine Dye, Marty Malloy, Jeff Francoeur, Jordan Schaefer, Jason Hayward, and now Evan Gattis in his second big league at bat against one of the game's best, Roy Halladay.
He's just so strong on a short, quick stroke. Ball really jumps off his bat.
Line drive up the middle by Simmons. It may be the best story in baseball in the first weeks, this journey of Evan Gattis, and his teammates are so happy he's here.
They were having to wait too. They weren't sure if Brown had gone up over the wall to get it. It's a great scene.
And that might be the last pitch of the night for Roy Halladay. Charlie Manuel's coming to the mound, and he is going to make the call and take him down here in the fourth inning. Halladay struck out 9 men, but he's given up 4 runs, including 2 long homers in Atlanta tonight. Georgia Power, by Ram Trucks, by Crown Royal, and by AT&T. What a special night tonight. The Braves have chased Roy Halladay here in the fourth inning. 2 more big home runs for this Braves offense. Upton 1. Evan Gattis hit his first in the show. And on a rainy night, the Braves beating the Phillies. And Evan Gattis was able to get his first major league hit, that home run ball, back tonight.
He looks like he's really not bothered by anything. You know, he's got a very stoic look on his face through all of this. When he made the club and interviews that you saw that followed that, it'll be interesting to see what he has to say after the game about this home run, knowing his family was here. But when you talk to him, there's genuine excitement about being here and thrilled that he made the club.
Raul Valdez takes over on the mound for the Phillies. When you think of the life experiences of Evan Gattis, yes, he's a rookie in the baseball sense, I would assume.
Yeah.
But in the life sense, I mean, he's lived 2 or 3 different lives, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. And I'm sure might be part of why he's able to keep it all under control and in perspective.
Valdez, a 35-year-old left-hander out of Cuba. Non-roster player for the Phillies last year, appeared in 27 games, as you see.
One of those was his start. Fastball, curveball pitcher, fastball really mostly in the high 80s.
So before we carry on too much further, what do you take from this start for Roy Halladay tonight?
Well, there was some real good in there with 9 strikeouts in 4+ innings, or 3+ innings, I should say. He walked a couple guys in the first inning. I think he's probably going to be a little frustrated by not being able to throw the ball as hard as he's accustomed to throwing it. But he made some good pitches with his off-speed stuff. So what remains to be seen is that the pitcher Roy Halladay is now? A veteran guy who can't throw as hard as he did a couple of years ago, and now all of a sudden has to be a guy that has to hit some corners and fool you with some off-speed stuff. But 9 strikeouts in 3+ innings, that'll get your attention.
Downstairs to Hayward, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
It seemed like, and I have to go back and look at the pitch counts, but it seemed like when he got ahead in the count, he put him away. If he had to pitch behind in the count and had to come with a strike somewhere, that's when he was in danger of getting hurt.
Hayward takes a walk with 1 out. First and second. And here's Upton again. I'd say Justin's enjoying Turner Field so far. A homer Monday, and this line drive leverage shot to right center field.
Yeah, and you appreciate the fact that he's not a guy that has to be a dead pull hitter to hit home runs.
Eric Kratz looking into the Phillies dugout, maybe getting a sign. Valdez ready to go.
As much as Justin struggled last year with that thumb injury, he was very consistent. Left-handers, right-handers, didn't change his numbers a whole lot. Nice stop. His lefty-righty splits, 275 average against left-handers. A few points higher against right-handers.
People forget this man was the first overall pick in the draft. Not a first-round pick only, but the first pick among all the first-rounders back in 2005. As we said last night, even by his standards, last year was a down year for him. Still played 150 games with the sore thumb. Still scored 100+ runs for the second straight year. Home runs dropped from 31 to 17, but still knocked in 67. Which begs the question, why in the world would Arizona not want to have a guy like that coming off the injury and healthy be a cornerstone of their franchise?
And already had him signed for a couple more years.
Braves loving the early returns from Justin Upton, who tries to add to a 4-0 lead here in the fourth.
Trying to keep the ball in on him, too. Three and two. Let's see if 4-run lead if Freddie Gonzalez sends his base runners. Utley really bird dogging Simmons out there, trying to hold him close at second.
The bases are loaded. Back-to-back walks by Valdez. Simmons at third, Jason's at second, Upton's at first, and now Freddie Freeman a chance to do real damage.
That was not what Charlie Manuel had in mind when he brought Valdez in to pitch to a couple of left-handers. He walked Hayward and walked Upton, and now he's got the other left-hander up there in Freeman. Let's see how he works to him.
Did you say middle relief a big question mark for the Phillies this year?
Has to be, but they did shore up at the end of the bullpen, giving Papelbon some help and some guys to help set up. Phillies with their lineup, at least in the past, if you kept the opponent within sight, 4 or 5 runs, they're still in the ball game, especially in their ballpark.
No balls and a strike.
And he gets ahead of this left-hander.
Freddie's walk scored and singled tonight. Fly ball left center field. That ball's going to get down and roll for a while. Simmons and Hayward and Upton all come flying home.
I don't know how long how long the Phillies anyway will put a shift on Freddie Freeman, but it won't last long as he hits another ball to the opposite field. And then the most fun on this was watching Justin Upton run from first base. He was scorching around second base.
A bases clearing double for Freddie Freeman. Makes it a 7-0 Braves lead in the 4th.
We've been saying this even since the beginning of spring training about how this outfield, great defense, and go get the ball, but along with their power, they've got the element of speed, and it showed itself there. Justin scoring from first. A look at him at first base. He's making sure the ball got down. And he was moving.
B.J. Upton hits with Freeman at second, a 2-ball, 1-strike count. A 4-run Braves 4th. Now 3-2. Halladay surrenders 5 runs, 6 hits, and 3 1/3 tonight. 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. All over the outside corner, and BJ wasn't sure about that. He's down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight and has a word with Mike Everett.
Well, we've shown tonight that Mike Everett was right on a couple of pitches. He didn't call strikes, and it appeared there from Fox Tracks he was right about that one that he did. But it took a perfect pitch from Valdez, something he hadn't done at least to that point, to be able to get an out.
Now a strike to Braves second baseman Dan Uggla. He's walked twice this evening.
As rough a year as it was for Dan last year, he led the league in walks. He's on base a lot more than we really think of him as being on base, because his batting average was low.
Yeah, I talked to him about that before the game tonight, and I said, what happened last year? He said, I just lost it. He just lost his swing, lost his stroke, and was in a constant search to rediscover it. And he felt like in September he was starting to get it back a little bit, but he feels that whatever the hitch was in his swing, he's figured out. And he's on the board already with his first home run. That came on opening night. Look how patiently he's approaching Valdez here.
Well, that was pretty patient there to not swing at that pitch, because it was called a strike just before that. Valdez trying to run that fastball in and make it tail back over the inside corner. Easy to give up on that pitch, but let's see if he tries it again.
Good cut on a 3-2 count. Braves set the tone in the opening inning. They forced Roy Halladay to throw 40 pitches. Atlanta scored 3 times in that frame, and Halladay got to work. He struck out 5 consecutive men, 9 in total. So the Braves chased him here in the 4th. Paul Mahalem has fired 4 shutout innings. He struck out 5 men tonight. And Ugla, and the Braves are done in the 4th inning. But what a 4th inning it was. Evan Gattis in the big leagues debuting tonight. His first major league hit, a solo home run just out of reach of Dominic Brown in straightaway left field. What a night in Atlanta. The Braves up 7 after 4. Paul Mahalem's received 7 runs of support, something that didn't happen an awful lot for him last year. He got 21 runs of support last year in his 11 starts with the Braves while he was in the game. He's gotten 7 tonight.
He'd like to have a 1-2-3 inning too. He's had to work out of the stretch most of the night.
Ben Revere bats first for the Phillies. and smokes one out towards second. Uggla with a backhanded play. Takes care of Revere, who's grounded out 3 times tonight. Talking to some of the infielders, they say this Braves infield is lightning quick. With all the wet weather, ball might be skidding a bit too.
Yeah, off the grass. A little hydroplaning.
Jimmy Rollins 2 for 2. He's doubled and singled tonight. Holland can get through this frame. We'll have an official game with bad weather expected as the night goes on tonight. It's bad enough as it is. Tomorrow's forecast for the series wrap-up is not good. But we'll wait and see if Mother Nature cooperates. Good weather expected this weekend for the Cubs series, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, and 2 the count to Jimmy Rollins. Get here early Friday and Saturday. They've got the Georgia Power magnetic schedule giveaway. And the opening weekend series is presented by the Home Depot. And you can get your tickets online at Braves.com or by phone at 800-745-3000. Popped up. Freddie Freeman battles the raindrops. 2 out.
Good crowd here tonight, too, that have been treated to some more offensive fireworks from the Braves. Everybody trying to get up under some cover or break out their ponchos. But a good turnout.
Well, after a sizzling start on Monday night, Chase Utley has cooled off a bit tonight. He has struck out and popped out. Ball 1 from Paul Maholm. Don't see Utley take many swings like that, do you? Good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That looked like that had a little tailing action in on his hands.
Now 2-2. Injury plagued year for Utley last year. Just 83 games in 2012 after a 103 game run in 2011 for the Phillies.
All of it knee issues.
There it was. And Utley was frozen on a 58-mile-an-hour delivery from Paul Maholm. He'll have a seat.
I didn't think he'd throw it to a lefty. Even at Utley.
in 2013.
And a lot of it coming from some long balls, and no different tonight. Braves have hit a couple more homers, and it all started in the first inning with Justin Upton putting the Braves on the board. Connected on a low fastball from Roy Halladay, behind in the count. Hit it the other way. That made it 2-0. Juan Francisco drove in another run. And just moments ago, Evan Gattis, second big league at bat, first big league homer. Pretty exciting stuff.
And he's due up second in this fifth inning. Valdez continues on for the Phillies. Francisco starts it off. He has an RBI hit tonight. It is down, strike one.
And kind of an, oh, by the way, Freddie Freeman's driven in 3 more runs tonight with 2 more hits, including a bases clearing double. 6 RBIs for him in 2 games.
That one off the pitcher's glove and out to Jimmy Rollins. And Howard with the scoop at first. And here's Gattis.
With all that was written about Evan Gattis during the wintertime, with his great work in the Venezuelan Winter League and the nickname that was hung on him down there of El Oso Blanco, fans already knew a lot about him coming to spring training.
I mean, can you think of another player who is as big an underdog, just from a life standpoint, to be a big league player than this guy?
Have to do some digging. You hear about big, burly guys that hit the ball a mile, and I think someone said it in one of his teammates about it, how you come to camp almost every spring, you hear about it on somebody's team, some big guy hitting the ball a long way, and then all of a sudden big league pitching catches up to him and figures out some things. But I don't know of anybody that's had a story like his to go with it.
A little flare down the right field line. That's going to bounce into the seats, foul. And this gives you an idea of what Evan Gattis went through, the journey, as it were. We're talking about out of baseball. We're talking about working as a ski lift operator, a janitor, anything but baseball. And then the Braves signed him after drafting him in the 23rd round for $1,000. That's his bonus. And here Evan Gattis is a major league player with the Braves. Tom, you have more for us?
Yeah, the scout that initially saw Evan Gattis and signed him is Gerald Turner. He handles North Texas and Oklahoma. He is in the building tonight, and he is as proud as any father after that home run.
Now bouncing ball out to Rollins. And the throw to first in time, 2 out.
Did he mention the fact that he came out of nowhere? When he first arrived at UT Permian Basin, he didn't have a baseball glove. He didn't even have a baseball hat. And then when they finally outfitted him enough to play Division II college baseball, he was drafted by the Braves, signed for just $1,000. On his way out of town, he met with his college coach at a local Wendy's. The coach bought him dinner. He also handed him a bag of equipment. He didn't have the necessary things that most minor leaguers possess: Under Armour, shorts, T-shirts, socks. And so only until his coach gave him an equipment bag full of that stuff was he even ready for pro ball.
Well, it just boggles the mind when you think of how many #1 picks, with all the advantages that Gattis didn't have, who flame out in Major League Baseball. To see this happen, yeah,
it's movie stuff. It's like Waterboy, you know. Get the Waterboy, put him in equipment, and all of a sudden he becomes a great player. It's kind of similar to that. Is this guy for real?
Well, he sure is real tonight. Evan Gattis, a big part of the Braves' night tonight. He's homered in a 7-0 lead behind Paul Maholm. Baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day.
And tonight, Home Depot tools from the dugout. This actually came from the groundskeeper room. The tools tonight, the rakes, the drying agent, all the hard work put in by the ground crew, trying to keep the playing surface dry and playable as this heavy drizzle continues to fall, and it's been falling since first pitch.
Hasn't bothered Paul Maholm, though, has it? Very steady, very solid tonight.
Yeah, he has been, and this is a perfect night for him to pitch. Honestly, the heavy air, the slow grass, trying to get some ground balls when he needed them. Got a double play turn for him here that really got him out of some trouble back in the second inning. But he's been spot on, too, including the old lollipop. 58-mile-an-hour Butte.
So there you see Paul's line after 88 pitches. And he's doing tonight for the Braves against an Eastern Division club that he's done very, very successfully. This is why the Braves were so happy to get him from the Cubs and so happy to have him pitch behind Tim Hudson in this series.
Last year against the National League East, not too shabby. 7-1 with a 222. Good work. And you know, it might have surprised some people that that Medlin didn't pitch opening day. And well, if he didn't pitch opening day, surely he'll pitch game 2. But I thought this was a good strategy on the part of Freddie Gonzalez and Roger McDowell to have a lefty work Medlin, then another lefty in Minor, so that they're not pitching back to back.
And Chris will pitch tomorrow, weather permitting. He'll face Cliff Lee in the series wrap-up here tomorrow night. First pitch at 7:10. And the Cubs are in over the weekend. We will see the season debut of Mike Minor and Julio Teheran in that series against the Cubs. Still some work to be done tonight with Ryan Howard in the box to start the Phillies' 6th. And he unloads deep to left. Justin going back onto the warning track, and he gets there for out number 1. That's a homer in Philly. It's a long fly out in Atlanta. 1 down.
Might have been a home run last night too, but I'm telling you, the ball is not carrying tonight. Wind is blowing across from right field toward left. That pushed it away from Justin. That's why he had to make that adjustment right at the wall. And Howard might have thought he got it. And even on Evan Gattis' home run, he kind of thought he had it, and it just barely cleared the wall.
Ball low to Michael Young, the Phillies third baseman. He's 0 for 2 tonight. All of Young's career spent with Texas. Now he's in the National League with the Phillies. Is changing leagues as big a deal these days, Joe, as it used to be in your era?
I don't think it is. I think it's a little easier to make some quick adjustments because of the access to video. Interleague play certainly helps.
That's certainly a question you ask about B.J. Upton, who's playing in the National League now after all those years with the Tampa Bay Rays.
It's just a great advantage for people changing leagues to have interleague play, so that you have seen several teams, several pitching staffs, if not all of them. Big advantage.
But Young really, if he's right, fills a glaring need for the Phillies. We mentioned Monday night, that Philly third baseman hit just 5 homers combined in 2012. That's almost impossible to imagine in that ballpark.
It is. He's a good player, and he's going to have a good year for them. He's going to put up some good numbers playing in that ballpark. We'll see how he adjusts to playing third. I'm sure he'll be just fine over there after he gets 20 games under his belt in the regular season. So it was a good sign by the Phillies.
And he moved all over the place in Texas. Do you think that he'll be better playing one spot?
Oh, sure. I think any player is more comfortable when they're not bounced around quite as much. That's what made Martin Prado so special, is it never mattered where he was playing. It didn't seem like it anyway.
There's the first real good stop by Gaddis. We talked about that earlier tonight. As big a night as it was for him in homering. He's been in sequence with Mahalam from the first pitch, and to this point calling a shutout behind the plate.
Yeah, I mean, we've noticed him when he comes back to the dugout. The first 2 guys to greet him almost every inning are Gerald Laird and Brian McCann.
Won't know till after the game how much help he's getting, if any, in calling the game tonight with Mahalam. Saw a momentary glance in the dugout before this 1-1 pitch, and it's bounced toward Freeman. He'll get the out at second. Young is forced. Brown's at first with 2 out. And John Mayberry will be the batter. But first things first, Freddie Gonzalez is making his way to the mound, and here's the trivia question. It's brought to you by our friends at AT&T Uverse. Since 2010, B.J. Upton's one of 2 players to record 50 or more homers and 100 or more steals. Name the other man. I'll let you think about that as this big crowd salutes Paul Mahalam. He departs in the 6th inning with a 7-0 lead and right at 97 pitches tonight.
Great start for him. Again, considering he got off to a real rough start with the Cubs last year in his first couple of starts. With 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. The 1 walk came in the first inning when he walked Ryan Howard when he had first base open. But good stuff all around.
And he'll give way to Corey Guerin, who answers the AT&T call to the bullpen. Guerin to face John Mayberry.
Side armor, sinker slider. Throws pretty hard, actually, versus most side armors. Pitched real well for the Braves last year in those 18 games or 22 games with a 1.80 ERA.
One thing you have to like about Corey, he keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
Yeah, last 2 years that he worked when he was in Gwinnett did not allow a homer.
But he's gone 3-0 to Mayberry. Base on balls. So first and second for the Phillies with 2 outs.
Ugla in to give him a little reassurance about we've got a nice lead. Give us a chance to help you.
There's a strike. Mentioned the job that Kratz has done against the Braves. He did a real good job behind the plate. Phillies were an 81 win team last year, a 500 club. They were 8 games over 500 when this man started behind the plate. A real dependable backup behind Carlos Ruiz, who missed most of this first month. He's got him as a minor league free agent.
Sorry, Chip. They've been pretty fortunate that way, finding good backups for Ruiz through the last several years.
And that one swung on and missed. Gaddis will chase it down and throw to first, and in time to get the catcher.
Inning over, guys. Not to worry.
Only need 3. It's a 7-0 lead as the Braves go to work near the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's a look at our Chevron upcoming starting pitchers and a doozy of a duel on tap tomorrow night.
It's interesting to me that on a couple of occasions in spring training, Charlie Manuel had Cliff Lee was set up to pitch against the Braves. It was his turn, but he did not let him pitch against the Braves in spring training. We'll see if that pays dividends for them tomorrow. Chris Medlin anxious to get out there for his first start after going 10-1 last year and dazzling everybody, the National League Pitcher of the Month in August and September, and deserved better in that playoff game against St. Louis, as we all know. Pitched real well in that game, too. He won his last 23 regular season starts, so that's still intact as he goes to the mound tomorrow.
And going to the mound now for the Phillies, their third pitcher of the night. It's left-hander Antonio Bastardo. He was busy last year.
Yeah, he was used as their left-handed setup guy most of the year for Papelbon. 52 innings, 81 strikeouts. That's a pretty good strikeout to innings pitch ratio right there.
And with his spot due first when the Phillies hit in the seventh, you figure it's going to be a one-and-done inning appearance for Bastardo, and you might see Mike Adams, you might see Jonathan Papelbon, even with the Phillies down 7-zip tonight. Just to get them some work. They didn't pitch in the opener. Nobody pitched yesterday, and Charlie Manuel might need to get them in a game. Top of the order up for the Braves. Andrelton Simmons, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Came in the Braves' 4-run fourth.
He's got a good fastball. Low 90s, 92, 93. Mostly a slider for his breaking ball.
Off the thumbs and in the air to Jimmy Rollins at short. And that's the first out of the Braves' sixth. Get 33% off concessions here at Turner Field when you buy a 2013 Braves season ticket package. Prorated packages are available starting at 18 games for only $170 per seat. Visit Braves.com/season tickets or call 404-577-9100. Two more runs for Hayward tonight. He singled and walked.
Braves left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight. Not a lot of luck against this guy. Jason 2 for 10. Freddie Freeman 0 for 8.
There's always that one guy, isn't there?
Well, he's pretty good. But, you know, for Brian McCann, there was that was it Feliciano that,
or Romero.
Romero, too, when he was with the Phillies. But Feliciano, I think it was, it just gave Brian fits.
Hayward to second, and Utley gets his man for out number 2. Top 4 hitters for the Braves tonight have scored 6 of the 7 runs. Justin Upton's scored a pair. One ball, no strikes. Big power offense for the Braves again tonight. A couple of home runs. They hit 3 on opening night. Braves scored early. 2 runs in the first inning Monday, 3 in the first tonight. course, Evan Gattis, his first big league hit, a homer to left. I think it's safe to say that the Braves outfield will make for great programming.
Yes, it certainly will. We hope so. That's a good program, though. We showed you that, the cover of the new program Monday night. The outfielders on the front.
And Upton with another base on balls. This one comes with 2 outs.
Great color photographs in there, stories on everybody. Again, it's not your normal 25-cent scorecard when you walk in. It is a beautiful book.
And for the record, I thought your biography picture was maybe your best.
I didn't know we were in it. Okay.
Well, it's so thick it takes that long to get to the back. I know, but trust me, you're in there.
Okay.
Great photo. That's worth.
Thank you. I hope it was something from the 80s.
Two more hits for Freeman, 3 more RBIs tonight. And quickly 0-2.
Naturally, with a lefty, you don't expect a shift, but no hint of a shift on Freddie now.
As he can do that, can't he? Speaking of that, Brian McCann took more batting practice today and got some throwing in. Said he felt great. And Brian was hitting balls from foul line to foul line with authority. He is getting closer and closer to getting back in playing action. And Freeman of the Braves done here in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th. 7, the lucky number for the Braves in Game 2 of the year. Homered for his first big league hit, part of a 7-run Braves outburst tonight as we check in again with Tom Hart.
All right, Chip, thanks. Well, injury report for you. You mentioned Brian McCann a moment ago. McCann's going to be out for a little while longer, but as you said, they're progressing nicely. Now, the other news is Johnny Venters. He got a platelet-rich plasma injection in his elbow. 2 things about that. They did an MRI on his elbow, but because of his previous Tommy John surgery, an injury. They weren't able to really tell exactly what was in that elbow because of everything that's still kind of littered around it there. But they also did do a test on it, a physical test, and that came out all clear. Johnny said today that he'll be unable to throw for the next 4 weeks. So the best case scenario he's looking at is late May to return. But that elbow did feel stable. That's good news. Now keep this in mind when it comes to Brian McCann. They want 6 months until returning to baseball playing. So he'll be eligible to come back to start working again probably middle of the month. Guys, I wouldn't be surprised. As Freddie Gonzalez said the other day, that if they're playing an AL team, he could DH. Maybe there's an opportunity for him to DH when the Braves go to Detroit late in this month and then get him back behind the plate and throwing sometime right after that.
That would certainly be good news, Tom. Thanks. That's a great report. Although, it may get snowed out in Detroit.
Let's hope not. I don't think there's any question that he's ready to go from this side of the game, the offensive side. He's very happy with his swing. He's gotten some things back in his repertoire to go to opposite field.
As Lance Nix greets Christian Martinez with a clean single on an 0-2 pitch.
The reservations are about his throwing and returning to baseball type play. The concern even in spring training was they barred him when he would take some at bats in minor league games. No sliding, no colliding with anybody, because they don't want to risk him putting a hand down to brace himself to slide and risk re-injuring the shoulder. I asked him about the throwing today, and Brian said on schedule. So that's good.
And he told me too that it's almost like he's having to relearn how to throw, just from the standpoint of doing it correctly mechanically so as not to tweak anything in the shoulder. I guess.
Well, think about anything that's been hurt. You're always going to favor it or be a little tentative about doing it the way that you naturally did it for fear that you might re-injure it somehow. So you can fully understand him thinking that he's got to relearn or make sure that he does it right each time so as not to hurt it.
Yeah, it just seems odd that here he is, this man who's played baseball his whole life, having to almost relearn how to throw a baseball again. But that's his fate. He did that today. Says it felt great. As Ben Revere loops a soft single into center. Back-to-back hits on 0-2 counts off Christian Martinez, who's the second man to answer an AT&T call to the bullpen.
Needing to rain a little harder too on Christian, as he is the third pitcher of the night used by the Braves. He was used in just about every situation last year too. A lot of multi-inning outings, several days where he had to work many days in a row. In some trouble here. He needs a ground ball to try to cut into this inning. I saw Paul Janisch taking ground balls today during batting practice as well. His injury was to his non-throwing shoulder, so he can take ground balls and throw just fine. But again, his recovery too, based on a 6-month basis too for his surgery, trying to get him back without risking any problems. Let's go back to Brian for just a second though, and with what Tom said about 6 months for Brian, middle of April, maybe getting some action late in April. Some of that will be dictated in terms of what kind of pace he's on to come back by, how well Laird plays and Gaddis plays. If there's a real need, that schedule might be ramped up a little bit, but if they're not going to be any big hurry. You want to make sure you give him an extra week or 10 days.
The team's playing well and they're handling the catching duties without issue. Yeah, you do have the luxury of extra time.
That's no knock on Brian. That's just saying, well, let's make sure. Let's make absolutely sure he's ready to go. I think that'd be smart.
Jimmy Rollins on a 2-0 pitch. Skies one to center. B.J. Upton in the raindrops. Makes the catch. Nix fakes a tag. He's not going anywhere. Perfect throw to Francisco at third. 1 out. Well, that was always the way Bobby Cox did things. We used to always laugh, and the players would too, Someone come back from a tweak of some sort and come back and tell Bobby, I'm ready to go. And what was Bobby's answer?
Yeah, one more.
Take one more day.
Nice to see Bobby here at the ballpark Monday night. Fans got a big kick out of seeing him. Great response.
Well, the good news for Chase Utley, he doesn't have to worry about the eephus pitch. Bad news is he's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. Off 0-2.
Well, disguised change up there. Good motion on it from Christian.
Utley keeps the at bat alive. It's still 0-2. Nationals are winning again tonight, beating the Marlins. That's 3-0 in the 9th inning. Marlins threatening up at Nationals Park. Mets are off to a good start. They're winning again tonight. Big lead over the Padres.
Well, it's not hard to forget. They got off to a good start last year, remember?
Yeah. Utley hooks this ball into the right field corner, and that'll roll to the fence. Nix is going to score. Revere around third. He's going to try to score and will without a throw. And Chase Utley is up to his old tricks again. Another big hit against the Braves. He knocks in a couple of runs and makes it a 7-2 score.
We went out and got a pitch down and away from him and hooked it into the corner. Such a short, quick stroke. No matter how bad you might make him look earlier in the bat on that changeup.
And after 13 pitches, Christian Martinez is going to be taken down by Freddie Gonzalez. 3 hits with 2 strikes in the inning, a couple of runs. 7-2 your score. Phillies continue to threaten. Here in the 7th inning. Braves are up 7-2. Avilan answers the AT&T call to the bullpen. He's the 3rd Braves reliever tonight, and Avilan had a very successful opening night.
Braves jumped out to the 4-0 lead, and the Phillies had come back to make it 4-3. Brian Howard was at the plate. He made a great pitch to strike him out, and then Jam Brown broke his bat, got out of the inning. kept the score 4-3, and then the Braves added on, and he wound up with the win. Great work. Made some excellent pitches to Big Ryan.
And that's who greets him here in the 7th. Utley's at second, 2 runs in, 1 out, 7-2. The Braves have the lead. Like Chase Utley, for me, it looks like Ryan Howard has lost some weight. Looks like he's moving around in pretty good shape coming off the Achilles problems.
Still trying to figure out Luis Avilan, though. We started him with a breaking ball, but he'll try something inside before too long here.
You're right. Second pitch. It was a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Thing that I think surprised Howard last night or Monday night was how hard he was throwing, 94.
And that's where he just chewed up Howard.
Great movement. Hard sinking action down and in.
Breaking ball froze him over the inside corner, and Howard didn't like that.
Well, Foxtrack has proven Mike Everett right every time tonight. That was not where that was supposed to be, but take a look right on the strike line, on the inside corner of the strike zone. That just buckled Ryan Howard's knees. Chase Utley didn't like the call either, but he didn't have the benefit of replay like we did.
Are they reacting to the way Gaddis caught the ball?
Could
Are they
be.
seeing that movement?
Yep. Part of that was Evans set up away and the pitch came in.
But it looked like the call was correct, and it's a big second out as Michael Young hits. 1 ball, no strikes. Raining harder now in this 7th inning.
Remember last year when we saw Avilan for the first time, he'd been starting. He was in Double-A, made a quick stop in Gwinnett. As I recall, I'm not even sure he actually pitched for Gwinnett and came right on up here.
That's exactly right. And again tonight, looks like he has both sides of the plate working. He's ahead of Young, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's a good fastball hitter. Don't try to sneak one by him here.
Slow roller, tough play. Avilan will slide. He'll fire. The ball hits Young in the back. Utley's going to try to score. Throw to the plate is not in time, and they're going to call. They're going to call Young out for running out of the baseline. Juan Samuel's going to argue. Charlie Manuel's going to come out and argue, and that'll save the Braves a 3rd run.
Mike Everett again. He's been 100% behind the plate. How about this call? Young is definitely in fair territory, still in fair territory, and got hit while he was still in fair territory. Another good call. Umpire's on top of it. Inning over.
And the Phillies' threat is over as well. They settle for 2 runs in the top of the 7th. We'll warm up and we'll stretch with the Braves up 7-2. Another special night in Atlanta. As you see our game summary, the Braves trying to make it 2 straight over the Phillies to start the 2013 season.
Been a fun night again, and I just feel strongly that we're going to see a lot of nights like this from an offensive standpoint, with a lot of base runners, a lot of big hits. Again, there's going to be some strikeouts racked up along the way too, as there were tonight early on, but there'll be some crooked numbers put on the scoreboard this year.
You see the Braves 3 in the first, 4 in the fourth. Now they'll wait for the grounds crew to continue its hard work. They've done a great job to keep this field in playable condition, with rain falling steadily since about a half hour before first pitch. And when play resumes, the Braves will take a look at another Phillies reliever, the third of the night, Mike Adams. And he's really trying to do something that they were sorely in need of, Joe, and that's take care of the 8th inning.
When this guy was in San Diego, he was putting up numbers that were eye-popping. He wasn't a closer, but kind of like Craig Kimbrell in a way. 2009, 37 games and 0.73 ERA. 2010, 70 games, a 1.76 ERA. 2011, 48 games with a 1.13 ERA, and then got traded to Texas. And while his numbers weren't as impressive there, he still put in good work for the Rangers as they got to the World Series and last year to the playoffs. So good work all around. Tough guy, tough competitor, good stuff, and he'll be an excellent addition as a setup guy for Papelbon.
Yeah, the 8th inning was a problem spot for the Phillies last year. Their bullpen ERA in the 8th inning approached 5 runs a game, and they gave up a whopping 24 home runs in the 8th inning last season. So Mike Adams is really going to help solve that problem, you'd think, for Charlie Manuel.
Yeah, think about how that changes a game, especially if you've got your closer up ready to finish some games and you've got the lead and somehow those home runs turn the game around. This guy throws hard, low to mid-90s, and an outstanding slider. And he throws a lot of sliders.
And it's B.J. Upton to lead off the 7th. B.J. looking for his first hit as a Brave, has struck out 3 times tonight. Fouled at the plate. All the pitching changes and all the excitement tonight. Don't forget, B.J. Upton was the subject of our AT&T Uverse trivia question. And this is just a reminder question. He's one of 2 players to record 50 or more homers and 100 or more steals since 2010. Can you name the other player to do that?
I cannot. Can you?
No. It's way too early for us to be at the top of our trivia game.
And I thought I had all the Upton trivia covered with flashcards, but just when you need Tom Glavine, he just goes silent on you.
Upton down on strikes for the 4th time tonight. Adams comes in with 3 strikes in his first 3 pitches. 1 out. Tom's still working on the power play, I think.
Well, probably so.
Kids Youth Hockey team. Here's Ugla, 2 walks and a strikeout. So 50 or more homers and 100 or more steals in the last 2 seasons. B.J. Upton.
Ryan Braun's not in that category, is he? He didn't steal that many bases.
Would checking the media guide constitute cheating? Is it?
Yes.
It would.
I'm just looking at teams.
Okay. We know what kind of trouble we get in if we get Twitter help or email help.
Yeah, we can't go there either.
1 ball, 1 strike for Dan. That's a big league pop-up, folks. Keep an eye on Utley. That's not an easy play. He makes it. 2 outs.
And with 2 outs, Georgia Power customers can take advantage of Georgia Power's refrigerator recycling program. Free pickup for your second working refrigerator or freezer, plus you get $50. I don't know. I was thinking about Batista with Toronto, but he doesn't steal that many bases, does he? It's not Ichiro who steals a bunch of bases. It wouldn't be him anymore.
Jason Worth, but he was hurt. You know, he had the broken wrist, but it's 3 years. Did he have a big last year with the Phillies?
Boy, I'm bumfuzzled.
Yeah. It's way too early for these very difficult questions. It's Juan Francisco bats. Andrew McCutchen. Will have as many guesses as attendance tonight. 24,289. Out of play by Juan, 0-2 the count. Don't think of anybody on the Reds.
100 stolen bases. I mean, that's a lot.
3 years, you know.
Yeah. Still a lot.
It's a lot. I like Ryan Braun. I like that answer, but I just don't think of him as.
I'm going to go with him. I'm going with Ryan Braun.
Going with Braun?
Yeah.
What about Carlos Gonzalez with the Rockies? Good pitch. Takes care of Francisco. Mike Adams, a very impressive Phillies debut in the bottom of the 7th. A couple of strikeouts. Of the 8th inning.
And time for our Coors Light freeze cam. And how about a freeze on the first big league homer for Evan Gattis? Great effort by Dominic Brown, but it just cleared his glove. Big response from the dugout, from his folks. That was the Coors Light freeze cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. There's a young fella that got the home run ball. And it looked like they made a nice swap with him to get that home run ball for Evan Gattis.
And from what we understand, that gentleman will get a replacement baseball and a chance to meet Gattis after the ball game. But what an unforgettable night. I'm sure you joke a lot about your first major league at bat. That didn't turn out so well, but your first major league hit, that's, I'm sure, to that point, the greatest moment of your life, isn't it?
That first home run is like validation that hey, I hit a home run against a major league pitcher at the highest level there is to play. Hitting a home run, it doesn't get any better than that from an offensive standpoint. So it's a validation that I think I can play here, or that I know I can play here. Whatever the case may be, it tells you a lot about yourself, and rewarding in this case for Evan Gattis after all he's been through.
And he's in the book forever. With the book, of course, being the baseball encyclopedia. No matter how long Evan Gattis remains in the major leagues, we hope he has a great 15, 20-year career if possible. He's in the book. And he and Freddie Freeman both can tell their grandchildren their first big league home run came against one of the greatest guys in this era of baseball to pitch, Roy Halladay.
Not too shabby. Kind of like me, really. I mean, very similar to me. Hit mine off Tom Berkmeyer. This is Freddie launching one off Halladay late in the season a couple of years ago. And I mean, crunched out there in the Philly bullpen. Halladay even had a funny look on his face when he saw that one leave. And Freddie got a little help from Peter Moylan and Nate McLeod getting his gloves off.
So some changes for the Braves. Ramiro Pena will make his Braves debut. He'll check in at third base and bat ninth. Anthony Varvaro will pitch the eighth with Dominic Brown facing him first. Anthony's coming in throwing hard tonight.
Showing hard all spring. Only thing maybe he needs to cut down. You see strikeouts, innings pitched outstanding, but 9 walks. Cut down on that a little bit. He can bring it.
He's quickly behind, 3 balls and a strike. Popped up. Pena gives chase over near the stands, but he won't have a play. It's a full count.
A sidebar to the injury to Johnny Venners is that it helped the staff in their decision making with how they were going to round out the bullpen. Varvaro and Christian Martinez both out of options. Corey Guerin was in the mix, and as it turned out, all 3 made the club.
To second. And Uglu takes care of Dominic Brown. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can somehow find the answer to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Since 2010, B.G. Upton's one of 2 players with 50 or more homers and 100 or more steals. Can you name the other man to do it?
I'm sticking with Ryan Braun.
I'm going to go with Matt Kemp. And, of course, we're both wrong.
Drew Stubbs?
Really? What?
Boy, Gretchen's come with her A game here in 13, hadn't she?
It's just...
Nailed us Monday night with Bronson Arroyo. Looks like it's going to be a Cincinnati Red type of year.
I'm guessing Corky Miller tomorrow.
Okay. Wow. Of the last 3 seasons, only 8 guys have stolen as many as 100 bases. And neither one of our guys is in there. But these were all base stealers.
Yeah.
Reyes, Crisp, Suzuki, Rajai Davis, Michael Bourne, and Juan Pierre. They just don't have the homers to match up.
Well, they've got another kid in their system, Billy Hamilton, that youngster who can really burn out. He was well over 100 stolen bases last year in the minor leagues. And he's a guy that the Reds may see sooner rather than later. They got terrible news with Ryan Ludwig. Tore up his shoulder on opening day. He's lost for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer.
On a head first slide.
Mayberry's reached base 3 times tonight. Now it's 2-2. Dan Uggla handles that soft line drive. That's the second out. This Sunday, friends, NASCAR heads to Martinsville for the second short track race of the season, where Daytona 500 champ Jimmy Johnson looks for his 7th career victory, and defending champ Ryan Newman tries to defend his title. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing starts Sunday at 12:30 Eastern. Here's Eric Kratz. He's hitless tonight. And a foul ball past third. Nationals were winners tonight. They beat the Marlins 3-0. Gio Gonzalez picked up the win.
So the Marlins are off to a rip-roaring shutout in 2 straight game start.
Yeah. Talked about the Astros' offensive problems. Marlins not scoring runs either. They've been batting Placido Polanco 4th.
Cleanup man.
He's batted everywhere in a major league lineup except 4th coming into this season, believe it or not.
Well, you got to have somebody in there for protection for Giancarlo Stanton.
1 ball, 1 strike. After the Braves wrap up the series with the Cubs, we will head down to Miami. The Braves will be the visiting team for the Marlins home opener. They are having trouble selling tickets, not surprisingly, for that opening series.
Go to Groupon, though, and get a good deal.
Two and two.
With his fastball, if he throws strikes, if he's got the ball down, he could be a real good secret weapon for Freddie Gonzalez.
Mets beat the Padres tonight. Pirates beat the Cubs today at PNC Park. Those are the finals. Rest of the National League late or just getting started. Here it's 7-2 in the 8th inning. And Kratz flies to left. Anthony Vivaro, a 1-2-3 8th inning. Braves up in the bottom half. One more game left with the Phillies tomorrow night. Then the Cubs come to town over the weekend, and our opening weekend series against the Cubs is presented by the Home Depot. Arrive early on Friday and Saturday. You'll get a Georgia Power magnetic schedule. Visit us at Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000.
Remember that movie, I think it was called The Jerk, with Steve Martin? I think that was the one where he was jumping up and down because the new phone books had come in.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I am with the magnetic schedules. When those things show up, I am just fired up.
All I need is this chair, that cookie, and this schedule.
Yes.
And I'm okay.
I'll be fine right here.
So we'll see you here tomorrow night, and then the Cubs come to town on Friday, and as we presumed, Charlie Manuel's trying to get some of his late inning guys some work, and a chance for Jonathan Papelbon to get some work in Game 2 of the series.
Did a really good job for them last year after signing with him as a free agent. Only 4 blown saves. Good ERA, tons of strikeouts again. He just didn't get enough opportunities, and as you pointed out, all those home runs in the 8th inning wiped out a lot of possibilities for him to pick up more saves.
So Evan Gattis, an unforgettable night tonight, now faces Jonathan Papelbon. The Red Sox closer. Gattis tonight struck out in his first big league at bat, homered in the 4th, and grounded out in the 5th.
Phillies at home have the greatest mascot ever in the Philly Fanatic. But that truly is a fanatic. Like he had a hand warmer in his left hand also.
Probably had more than one.
Yeah. Good cut. We all know what that means.
And that too.
Yeah. And yes, you are, sir.
Two balls, 2 strikes. We've talked a lot about this powerful Braves offense, and I think you made the point earlier, and it bears repeating. With that power is going to come a lot of strikeouts. Here we are in the 8th inning. The Braves have struck out 15 times, but they've scored 7 runs. You don't see that combination too often. That's 5 innings of no contact.
Yes, it is. And there's going to be more games like that too, and some where they don't score 7 runs, where that's the first place you look.
Ooh, Papelbon thought he had Gattis struck out. Instead, it's a full count.
Dan Uggla was talking after the game Monday night, though. Missed again. Mike Everett, 100% tonight. Dan Uggla was talking about how hard they're working, though, to try to make sure in situations that they do the right thing. Move runners over, hit behind runners, go the other way.
Gattis got jammed and pops it up to deep short. Jimmy Rollins drifts back. And that is out number 1 in the 8th inning. So Gattis 1 for 4 in his first big league game tonight. Now Ramiro Pena grabs the bat. This guy made the team because he's a very versatile defensive player. Not to say he didn't have a good spring at the plate, but a veteran guy who's seen some time in the big leagues with the Yankees. Back in 2009, he played 69 games for them.
He was up with him some last year, too. Greg Walker said he's a switch hitter. Greg Walker said he's got a few moving parts, maybe a few too many moving parts in his swing, but he's working to try to calm that down. Hit a home run late in camp also, showed him some power.
And he drives this ball to left. That is playable for Dominic Brown, who has it, and 2 outs. Let me go back to the top at Andrelton Simmons. He'll try to improve on a 1-for-4 night tonight. Best Braves start in a championship season, 13-0. Braves need 3 outs to start this one, 2-0. Have a chance to sweep the Phillies perhaps tomorrow night.
Pitch. Throw all that gas time and time again, somebody's going to catch up to it, but that was a good off-speed pitch, good breaking ball. Keep Andrelton honest.
And a base hit through the whole left side for Simmons. A 2-hit game for the Braves shortstop. Quick peek at the rest of the National League scoreboard tonight. Told you about the Nationals winning 3-0. Reds and Angels in the 9th. Rockies 4-2. Troy Tulowitzki had a big opening game for the Rockies. Mets a winner. Pirates shut out the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. Look for a little revenge over the Cardinals out in the desert this evening.
Good to have Tulowitzki back. Like watching him play. It's important to the Rockies organization, and glad to see he's healthy and back. I was going to say the Angels and Reds tied in the 9th. They played 13 innings opening night in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that old traditional Angels-Reds opener. There's a strike. Those are 2 real good ball clubs hooking up in that interleague set in Cincinnati. Two balls and a strike. Now 3-1. Hope the weather will cooperate tomorrow night. Cliff Lee and Chris Medlin are scheduled to work the finale here tomorrow evening. Join us for Braves Live at 6:30 Eastern Time. Then Joe and I watch Jason Hayward launch one deep to right. Will it stay in the park? Leaping try at the fence. It is gone. A home run for Hayward.
Off Papelbon. And again, like we talked about on Gaddis' home run, we couldn't tell. We had to wait to see if Mayberry was going to haul it in. I was actually watching the fans that time, the ones that are right there on the railing, Chip, and they all went crazy. So I thought, okay, it dropped. This one had some carry to it. And Mayberry just kind of backpedaled into the fence, which kind of stunted his ability to jump. Good for Jason, just enough.
So Hayward homers, knocks in 2. He scored 3. The Braves have hit 3 more homers tonight and have scored 9 runs off the Phillies. 5 against Halladay, 2 here against Papelbon. And Justin Upton, the batter, with 2 outs. That's high and tight. 2-1 the count. Right now there is not an easy out 1 through 8 on the lineup card for the Braves. Two and two.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark, even in the rain.
Up and away, a full count.
The thing I like about this is, as an opponent of Papelbon, is that middle of your order is getting a chance to take a look at him, and Simmons too at the top. There might be a situation in a close ball game tomorrow night where they feel a little more comfortable seeing him.
And that's a called third strike. Justin was a step toward first base, but he's the third and final out of the Atlanta 8th. Jason Hayward with a towering home run, a 2-run shot, extends the Braves' lead.
It will be here, rain or shine, and a lot of rain tonight as Braves Live's coming up next. Check in with Freddie Gonzalez. Press conference, clubhouse interviews, and oh, by the way, we may just check in with Evan Gattis once again. And if you missed his first major league hit, a home run, and the reaction of his father, Joe, and his stepmom, Sue, the rest of his family, we'll also re-rack that tape for you as well. Should be a fun Braves Live. Chip?
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. Great job interviewing the family. And as we say in the business, it's great when they follow the script, isn't it?
Fun night.
So Anthony Varvaro back out there for the Braves. He'll face Freddie Galvis with Jordan Schaefer taking over in the Braves center field.
You know what's cool about this? This is only the second game, and every position player's been in the game, in a game already. And everybody in the bullpen, too.
Oh, 2 to Galvis.
This guy was playing tremendous baseball for the Phillies last year in the absence of Utley, and then he got hurt. He was kind of a Andrelton Simmons type highlight reel for them at second base. He was all over the place.
Pop fly foul. Still 0-2 to Galvis. The Phillies, after wrapping up the series tomorrow night, head home, and their home opener is against the Royals.
Another traditional opener.
Yeah, so big fan favorite. Then the Mets come into town for Philadelphia. And Barbaro takes care of Galvis. Good off-speed stuff. Nice weapon to be able to throw 94 and then drop an 80-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. His first strikeout. And here's Ben Revere. Speaking of the Royals, there are many who feel that's a club in the AL Central that might make a run at a postseason spot. The Royals really loaded up on pitching in the offseason. Lost again today to the White Sox. But with big game James Shields and all those young sluggers, perhaps this is the year that the Royals finally break through.
Urban Santana came over from the Angels. Are hoping for a good year, kind of a return to form for him.
One ball, one strike to Ben Revere. He scored one of the 2 Phillies runs tonight. Slap toward short. Quick release. Good play. Takes care of Revere.
Well, this game's going to end just in time, Chip, because it hasn't rained hard tonight, but it's rained steady, and there's shiny spots beginning to show up. As you see in that replay right there, you can tell how wet the infield is. The dirt portion is played by Andrelton, but it's getting soaked. And the grounds crew's done a great job of making it playable for 9 innings, because it hasn't stopped raining all night now.
And you mentioned that the teams would have to play through this knowing how bad the forecast is tomorrow. So Jimmy Rollins, the final hope for the Phillies, and he swings the first pitch, and that is going to end this game. Braves wallop the Phillies again. 9-2 your final score. 3 more Braves home runs, and a solid start by Paul Mahala. Back to recap this special night for the Braves and catcher Evan Gattis right after this.